Hello everyone, I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. A simple swab campaign led by Dr. Arliene T of the WINBVI Foundation, Know, Fix, Live, Win. You've heard the campaign before. This is actually the 4th time she's leading it, making sure that she is passing knowledge on to the women of our Virgin Islands. Joining us as well is Dr. Kedrick Pickering, our best-selling author and obstetrician gynecologist, to break down exactly what a simple swab means and what it could do for the women in our community. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman by yours truly, Ron Grant, presents Season 7. Introducing Travi Rose, Creative Director, Alex Lake, Businessman, Sean Black, Cinematographer, Dakari Wheatley Adams, Content Creator, Donandre Millwood, Educator and Musician, Hashim Dream, Entertainer, James Todman Sr., Contractor, Dr. Albert Tompkins, Psychotherapist, Walter Barrett, Author, Rakim Todman, Producer and Engineer, Kamal Letson, Photographer, Roosevelt Smith III, Sales Manager and Hospitality Professional, Leland Abraham, IT Technician and Cybersecurity Analyst. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, coming January 29th at 8 p.m. exclusively on 284 Media. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redefine yourself through the stories of real-life heroes. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, Raising a Generation of Greatness. Voted Top 35 Gentleman Podcast Worldwide by FeedSpot and BI Icon Award winner.
Just give me my service. Yeah. Just give me my service.
Just give me my service.
Make the switch to CCT and get connected today. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Visit any CCT store or call us at 444-4444. CCT, Life Unlimited.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you all so much for sticking with us. As promised, I'm joined by Dr. Arliene T. Cervical Cancer Thriver. I like that title. That is most fitting of all of your accolades. And Dr. Kedrick Pickering, our best-selling author and our obstetrician gynecologist who's been serving our community for, I think, maybe over 40 years?
Just about
39. Beautiful. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
Dr. Penn, I want to talk about your campaign. This is the 4th time you've done it, and you literally live the campaign because you are a cervical cancer thriver. Take us back just briefly on your journey and why you're now continuing to really impart the wisdom that you've learned through this experience.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Let me just start from when you said journey in terms of why Dr. Pickering is here, so we can tie this all together. When I was first diagnosed, I remember I had about, 4? I had a recommendation, but I didn't want to believe what the results were. And the 5th doctor I went to was Dr. Pickering. I didn't know him.
Interesting.
I didn't know him at all. And he said to me, he looked at my file, and people know I say this all the time. He looked at my file and he said to me, young lady, I'm not going to examine you. He said, because you need to get up out of here, go and get yourself sorted out, because if you do not, this thing is going to kill you. And that's when it sort of soaked in for me, because here you have a doctor now at my breaking point who's saying, listen, you can't move from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor because the results will never change. The only way it's going to change is you have to get up and do something about it. And I went from here to do something about it. So here I am, 21 years later. I was reading some statistics from the World Health Organization about women and cervical cancer. From the World Health Organization, I think it said about 600,000 women were diagnosed every year. And 350,000 of those women globally die as a result of cervical cancer. And I'm alive, living proof that early detection saved lives. I had to get up, say something, do something, and what better platform for me to use than that of WINBVI, because WINBVI, I would become Mrs. British Virgin Islands Globe, and this would take me into the globe where I would be able to speak with women from all diaspora, all across the world about cervical cancer awareness.
And helping women in need.
Helping women in need. So I came up with this idea of, my platform, let me make the pap smears available free of cost to women. Because when I learned that I was diagnosed, it was a free screening, just a free regular pap smear screening that picked up in my early 20s that I'm in danger. Mm-hmm. So I said that, you know what? Let me make this available to women, because the human papilloma virus, yes, which is one of the key causes of cervical cancer, it's real. So what do? Make the pap smears available. So I did it not 1, 2, 3, but now this is my fourth time. And the first time when I started it, I started with know now, fix early, live life beautifully, fearfully, wonderfully. Because this was a way for me to get women's mind talking or thinking about the importance of getting the pap smears done.
Understood.
Then I started to peel it back. The following year, it was know, fix, live, win, because the mindset of the women are shifting now. Then last year, it was cervical cancer, that's enough. This year, it's a simple swab. Because the more I speak with women, there are a number of women who wanted to do the pap smear but didn't because of fear.
Understood.
So now it's about a mind shift. How do we get women to understand the importance of, I would prefer, for me, to get that one swab than to go through what I went through for years just to make sure that I got a clean slate from the oncologist to say it's okay to go and live your life as normal as anyone. So I don't want women to go through that process.
Beautiful.
Just get that simple swab. That's all it takes.
And
right, Doc?
And let's break down the campaign. Tell us about the Simple Swab Campaign. What are the elements?
Okay, this is where, because there are so many different things involved in it. First of all, we're looking at women between ages 18 to 29. Once you're sexually active, but you never had a pap smear, because there is that category of women. And then you have the category of women who are ages 18 to 65, who are sexually active and had no pap smear in 3 years. We are also making sure that we target you as well. We recognize that there are women who call as well, who may just want to just know.
Understood.
We turn no one away, because it's important that you do not turn people away, but you give them that freedom and that liberty to make sure that if they want to get themselves checked, it's okay. They should be afforded that opportunity. In terms of the participating clinics, every year we try to do something that's different. And this year we are working with Penn Medical, Eureka, BNF Medical Complex, and the wellness clinics. So we just want to thank them for being a part of this initiative. Last year, Dr. Pickering was a part of my initiative as well. So I thank you as well, Pick Smith, for being a part of that. Yes, always, because I think it's important, because you can't do it alone. And the World Health Organization has said that by 2030, they want to make sure that we're able to eliminate and start the process at least of eliminating cervical cancer as a global pandemic. Because, cervical cancer, it's treatable, detectable, and no woman should have to die as a result of it. I am alive. No woman should have to die from what can be detected, what is treatable, and you can live life.
Most important. Thank you for sharing. Dr. Pickering, I want to break it down for the women who are watching. Tell us about the swab, the process, and the importance of it. What does that look like?
Thanks, Rhonda. Starting with the importance of it, I want to emphasize what Dr. Penn has been saying, that in today's world, no woman should die from cervical cancer. The reason why that is so is that by doing a simple pap test, which is part and parcel of a normal gynecological examination, that pap test, the real purpose behind it is that we can pick up precancerous changes, and those changes can be treated effectively and therefore reduce and probably eliminate the possibility of that individual woman developing cancer of the cervix. Cancer of the cervix is still a major problem in the third world, where women do not necessarily have access to health services readily available to them. And so what Dr. Penn is doing is trying to get this message out far and wide to encourage women to have that simple test done, especially somebody who has become sexually active and is sexually active after you pass the age of 21. It is something that is recommended. And any woman who has delivered a baby normally should not have that fear of having a pap test done, because it's the same examination that you go through when you're in the delivery room and eventually deliver the baby. So there's some women who think that it is, a painful experience. It is not. It is just a simple part of the examination in which we take a little soft brush and swab the endocervical canal, put that on a slide and send it off to the lab for testing. So if I can emphasize only one thing is to say, a pap smear is a part of a normal gynecological exam. It's not something extra. It is done within the examination.
Wonderful. I want to continue there. As it pertains to some miseducation that may be out there, I want you to break down the functions for me, essentially of the cervix.
So the cervix is basically the neck of the womb. That is where the baby traverses in order for it to be born. So any woman who is pregnant, goes into labor, and goes to the hospital, the nurse or the doctor will examine them, and they will hear that you're either dilated or not dilated. And that dilatation is the opening of the cervix to allow the baby head to come through the canal. That is the main function that it does. Beyond that, the cervix is uniquely placed to ensure that during the developmental process of a pregnancy, the baby don't fall out, so to speak. And in rare cases, sometimes you may hear us use a term, cervical incompetence. That is when a woman's cervix is not strong enough to hold the baby in. So we will then do a minor surgery to tighten it up to effectively allow the pregnancy to continue. And then in normal everyday activity, especially in the younger female, the cervix also secretes a mucus that is extremely important in normal intimate sexual activity.
Understood. Thank you so much for that clarification. Dr. Penn, I want to go back for women who are within the age brackets that you've just described. Reiterate for us how they can be a part of a Simple Swab campaign.
Well, once you're between 18 and 65, we're asking you to call, as long as you are sexually active, they can call 440-4122. Someone is actually there from WINBVI designated
Beautiful.
to pick up those calls and just to make sure that the goal is for women need to call. We have created the opportunity. It's for women now to take that action. And WINBVI has actually partnered with us to power this. And I'm so happy that WINBVI came on board.
Beautiful.
Because I remember when I decided to, it was time for me to pass on the crown to someone else. And WINBVI came and said, we love what you're doing and we want to be a part of it. And because of that, I'm still continuing the campaign. But Dr. Pickering spoke about the incompetent cervix. And I remember that one of the treatments I would have had to go through was a cone biopsy. And I remember them saying to me that once we do this specific surgery, you will be left with an incompetent cervix. And it meant that, well, this is how they put it to me in layman terms. They said that in the event that you were to get pregnant, then we'll have to sew that part of you to keep the baby from, on the inside. And sometimes we think that these things are not real, but they are. And I can tell you a lot of this is real here, because when I get the phone calls from women, or you get the WhatsApp message from a woman to say, I've just been diagnosed, or this has happened to me, what do you do? I just want us to bear in mind that this is real. It is real. And when I look down the road, and when you're thinking about HPV, and I'm thinking about, in my case, I had to do the radical hysterectomy. It meant that I still have my ovaries. It means that, but I don't have the womb. I don't have the womb to carry the baby. And you think about all of the women, and I was in my early 20s. What if that was all the women? What does that mean for life? The continuity of life. I know what it's like to have children, and I know what it's like to be in a marriage and can't have children. And I don't want women to have to go through that process, so that at the very least you can have the freedom to have children and have a family if you so choose and you so want to. I want to also say that there will also be free consultation for the women when they're getting their pap smears done. Even though we're scheduling, now you're registering, but in February, that's when all of the tests, all of the clinics are scheduling the tests during that time. And I really set it up that way for a reason, because January is cited as Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. However, February, it's about love.
Indeed.
And it's about loving yourself. So what better time than to take care of you than during the love month?
I totally agree.
Which is February.
Wonderful.
So all of February, women will be able to go and get their pap smears done. We only register you, and that information is then passed on to the specific clinics, because we give the women an opportunity to say which clinic they would prefer to get the treatment and to get the screening, and the clinics would then call the women. We have nothing else to do with any engagement, so we don't know what the results are.
Understood.
That's not the conversation that we have. Our responsibility is only to galvanize and get the women to sign up to get those pap smears.
Wonderful. You mentioned a lot of the contributing clinics, but I want to talk about contributing sponsors.
Yes.
Outside of you mentioning Unite BVI, who have some of your contributing sponsors been for this initiative?
BVI Cancer Society is always there. I consider myself still to be an ambassador for the BVI Cancer Society. They were actually one of the key organization who I had to go before a board and pitch in order for them to adopt me.
Understood.
As their ambassador as Mrs. British Virgin Islands 2022 and 2023. So Gloria is always there no matter what I am doing. The Rotary Club Central, let me make sure, because they came on board, and I'm so pleased with that. The Rotary Club Central Tortola, they came on board just yesterday, and I'm pleased that they were able to do that. And then we have the Mrs. British Virgin Islands, and that's the emblem. The WINBVI, that's the organization through which I am pushing this initiative, and we help women in need. We don't turn women away. We make sure that you're empowered. We help you to get to the next level. We help you to become the best version of yourself.
Amazing. I want to thank you so much, both, for sharing of your wisdom in the Simple Swab campaign. Dr. Penn, thank you and congratulations on this fourth screening initiative and impacting your knowledge and wisdom through your testimony as a cervical cancer thriver. Dr. Pickering, thank you for continuing to grace us with your gifts and talents through the medical field. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Viewers, that is all the time we have. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Simple Swab Campaign by Dr. Arliene T. Penn. Make sure women, of course, those of you who are watching, and of course, the brothers, the fathers, the husbands of these women, make sure that you have a conversation with them and support them in living their best lives. Thank you so much and have a beautiful rest of the day. Goodbye.